and welcome to Tarmac. I'm Dave.
I'm Matthew, and just look at today, and what a beautiful day and the perfect time to have a sports car like this. None other than the Mazda MX-5.
And it's the GT, so it's the really popular Mazda MX-5 that's been improved. It's got better handling, better power, and KPC, which is not to be confused with KFC, but either way, they're both finger-licking good. Come, let's take a look at this. Now, I say popular, and I mean that because basically back in 2016, over 1 million of these have come off the production line. I actually was one of the people that wrote on it, on one of the millions that came wandering around the world. But anyway, so for that particular reason, I'm not going to wander all the way around and point out different things to you because you've probably seen it before. If you haven't, you've been living under a rock. The big thing to point out though is this color. This color is called Platinum Quartz, and it's one of the new color schemes, or the new color scheme to come out for the GT. And it is stunning, great in the sort of like an off-white, off-grey, just quartzy, really good color. Anyway, the other good thing about this vehicle is what's happening to make it more stable on the road. And for that, let's start looking, or I'll start crawling around underneath, even though it's difficult because it's only 1.2 meters high. On each corner, thankfully, are these the gunmetal BBS 17-inch alloys. They're stunning. They're really good. They're lightweight, and they're literally just made specifically for this vehicle. They're tremendous. Behind there, you got the red Brembo brakes or brake calipers as well, particularly on the front, or actually only on the front. And behind there in the suspension, you've got Bilstein shocks, so Bilstein dampers. So essentially, this is really set up for a rugged drive, or really to improve the handling. The mirror caps here are blackened out and nice and shiny, so something different from there. And also around the back here, they've got this KPC, which is kinematic posture control. And what that is, it applies around about 45 psi of brakes to the inner wheel when you're cornering. It's very smart, very clever, and very Mazda, which is awesome. Let's check under the bonnet. What we have here is a Skyactiv G 2-litre engine. It is an engine, as last seen in the RF, so it's in the hardtop. So this provides 135 kilowatts of power and 205 newton meters of torque through a 6-speed manual box to the rear wheel. So this is brilliant. Front engine, rear wheel drive, manual gearbox, just tremendous. What it does, it provides basically fuel economy around about 6.7 litres per 100 kilometers, and I think it's around about 160 or something grams or 130 grams of CO2s in emissions, but either way, pretty damn good. Speaking of things that are pretty damn good, Matthew's inside, which is not a big cabin, but it'll show you around there.
Well, frankly, I'm flattered by Dave's comments, but I can't get ahead of myself in a car like this, because this is overall a way more impressive package than me, I think. Anyway, make of that what you will. On a different note, this interior, it may be small, just 2 seats, and as you can see, there's not much room generally here, but the way they've packaged it is a really nice sort of, not just practical, but also very sporty. So if I start with the top of the doors, those are painted, as you can see, in that Platinum Quartz body color, one of the new colors for this GT MX-5. The other key thing is the seats. They are leather. And actually, if you look closely, they have speakers embedded into the headrest. That's a pretty cool feature. Speaking of which, you get a 9-speaker Bose audio system in here. So a couple of speakers on the doors and then some on your headrest as well. And what I really like is the fact that just tucked in there, you have a CD player. I may be archaic, but I still have my CDs, and I still like a car where I can listen to them. You're going to need a place to store all of those, right? And Mazda's sort of got you covered there. So even though you don't have door bins or a glove box, you do have space underneath here, this sort of armrest thing. And then you have a nice glove box in there with the manuals and whatnot, and Dave's wallet is in there too as well. There is, enough going on here. And then a slot for your phone in the front there, along with aux connectivity and USB connectivity. So there is, all the sorts of connectivity you can imagine. But obviously I've glanced over the elephant in the room here, which is this thing, the manual gearbox. We'll show you more of it on the drive, which I think is what we should do now.
All right, so I have to say it must be my age because I must be entering that midlife crisis thing, but I am a big fan of the MX-5. It really is an accessible sports car that offers, low to the ground driving, almost skateboard driving, and, open air driving, all the stuff that you'd want when you are experiencing the time when you want your kids to leave and all that sort of stuff and get a blonde. But I got stuck with Matthew. I mean, I was nice to him earlier, but now not, got grave.
I guess it had to come out at some point, and there we are.
But the GT just makes it that much better. So it is a stronger powertrain up front, and so a little bit more poke from it's not massive. 135 kilowatts is not massive, but then it is in a vehicle that's only weighing just a shade over a ton. So, power to weight ratio is awesome.
I mean, you gotta wonder, with cars the way they are nowadays and safety restrictions the way they are, how have Mazda managed to keep the car so lightweight yet still so structurally sound and safe as well, not to mention?
Yeah, and one of the big things is this KPC, and look, we've just gone around the corner now, absolutely no body roll, and it's just a really clever system that makes sure that it applies a little bit of braking to the inside wheel that just makes the rear just remain level. Now, Matthew brought this up earlier, and you can probably bring it up now. How do they manage to keep the weight down? And what they've done is, by this clever KPC system, adds absolutely zero extra weight to the vehicle. So whereas some of the other stability controls manage to probably offer, I think it's around about 450 psi of braking force to the rear wheels, this one offers 45, but it still does a brilliant job with no extra weight gain.
I honestly don't know how they've done that in, this MX-5. But then again, that's just Mazda. They just come out with these pieces of technology, and it just sort of seems to not comply to the laws of physics sometimes.
Exactly. It offers a really nice drive, really smooth, really comfortable, while still offering plenty of fun to attack corners. And really attack corners. I mean, how much fun can this be for a vehicle that is just so lightweight and so much fun? It's great.
And even still, with the combination of the front engine and rear wheel drive and, Dave's spirited driving, it's very hard to lose traction. And that's, quite a surprise in a rear wheel drive sports car, which, one of the key attraction points is losing traction.
Yeah, I think there is a traction control you can switch off. But anyway, the other big thing is this 6-speed gearbox. It's just amazing. The throw is tiny, so you can actually rest your elbow and just use your fingertips to change gear. And the biting point for the clutch is so high, so you don't even have to dip all the way down. It's just so easy to swap gears and go up and down. It's amazing.
It's a really sweet setup, I think, to describe it, and it tells you exactly why Mazda have sold more than 1 million of these MX-5s throughout the time that the model's been running. It's just become the de facto affordable sports car.
Absolutely, and it's so simple. Nice long bonnet, sitting mid to rear, really comfortable, well balanced front wheel, rear wheel positioning. It's just awesome.
But on the off chance that you're not out on the open road enjoying the drive and you're stuck in traffic, Mazda have still thrown in plenty of bits and pieces of technology to keep you entertained via their infotainment system. So you've got your Bluetooth connectivity, your radio, whatever, and it's sort of all operated by this rotary wheel over here, which makes things really easy to operate. And then, of course, not to mention that CD player in the back, which me at least, I'm a big fan of.
It will break out that CD collection. The other thing is it's really got such a really narrow turning circle. It's just great. You can spin around on the proverbial dime and just get to where you want to go. I said at the outset I'm a big fan, but I really am a big fan, or a bigger fan of this one. So there you have it, the new Mazda MX-5 GT. More power, more performance, more rigidity in the chassis and the driving, so just more performance all the way around. It really is KFC, KPC, finger licking great. I'm really enjoying it.
In all honesty, for this sort of money, there's not much more fun drives you can have in a car than the Mazda MX-5, which explains why they've sold, you know, so many.
It is. Literally go and grab this one, take it for a drive, pick a sunny day and drop the top because it's so easy to do, and I don't know, have fun. See you on the next one.